A powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake has rocked central Japan, killing at least 6 people, with many more feared dead.
Prince Andrew and the former President Bill Clinton have been named in newly released court documents relating to the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. They include associates, friends, and alleged victims of the disgraced billionaire.
And liftoff of the first United Launch Alliance.
European scientists have said that 2023 left the records tumbling like dominoes, confirming it was the hottest year ever recorded.
The city of St. Paul, Minnesota did something it had never done before, elect an all-female city council.
I've never believed that Donald Trump was a foregone conclusion as our nominee in this race.
At least 300 people lost their lives last month due to massive floods in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Case filed by South Africa accusing Israel of genocide in its Gaza war.
Again, Alec Baldwin now criminally charged once again.
Resources. In what sane universe is there a link for C results anyway?
Post-pandemic vaccine hesitancy.
Alberta is going further than any other province in restricting the rights of transgender youth.
It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance.
It is 90 seconds to midnight.
Ukrainian forces shot down a Russian A-50 military aircraft over the Azov Sea.
I have absolutely no idea who this woman is.
Well, a town in Alberta has voted to ban rainbow crosswalks that celebrate Pride.
Elmo is just checking in.
All we know is that they're stressing that King Charles will continue to undertake state business.
We are on our way to a complete victory.
The Israeli Defense Forces launched airstrikes against Hezbollah.
Celebrations in Greece after it became the first Orthodox Christian country to legalize same-sex marriage.
Can be sued for wrongful death, deeming embryos children.
Blockers for minors.
Do you agree with that?
Do you agree with that?
I think that we should protect children and their ability to make adult decisions when they are adults.
Sentenced her to up to 60 years in prison.
I know this was a nail biter, but we are on the surface and we are transmitting. And welcome to the moon.
Say this will be my last term as Republican leader of the Senate.
It's a fundamental right, and it has to be in the Constitution because you can always change the law.
The time has now come to suspend my campaign.
I'll always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people.
And we have breaking news. Sweden is now officially a member of NATO.
No evidence to suggest that the United States government...
TikTok is a threat to our national security.
I cannot endorse President Trump's continuing assertion that I should have set aside my oath to support and defend the Constitution.
It has taken us time to explain everything to George, Charlotte, and Louis.
The United Nations Security Council issuing its first demand for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Section of Iran's embassy in Damascus.
It's time for this war to end.
These bans, whether it's 1864 or 2022, do not take complications of pregnancy into account at all.
Israel has ordered residents now in Jerusalem to shelter in place.
Were you referring? Asked the judge about those hallway comments.
One of our mottos is disclose, divest. We will not stop, we will not rest.
Meantime, Israeli tanks have seized control of Gaza's vital Rafah border crossing.
The leader of an attempted coup was killed on Sunday, and several others arrested at gunfire after gunfire erupted.
This was a disgrace.
Earlier, First Lady Jill Biden, hand in hand with Hunter.
Scaring teachers with the threat of punishment.
For President Joe Biden to end his re-election campaign.
Presidents can be shielded for at least some of what they do in office.
The exit poll is predicting a Labour landslide.
Murder for shooting Massey in her kitchen.
Saw something that didn't look good for me.
People are very, very excited, as you can hear behind me.
One missile falling on a children's hospital in Kyiv.
They were found to have XY chromosomes. They had a chance to appeal that to avoid being banned, and they chose not to appeal it.
Friends, delegates, and fellow citizens.
President Joe Biden has just announced that he is dropping out of the 2024 presidential race.
Of enough delegates to secure the Democratic nomination.
It's aware of this outage and is now
News out of Vienna, where officials say they are canceling multiple Taylor Swift shows.
I feel ashamed for our country right now. It's just
Following the World Health Organization has declared the current Mpox outbreak in Africa a global health emergency.
Germany's far-right party, the Nationalist Alternative for Germany, or AfD, won its first state election on Sunday.
They're eating the dogs.
Coming from someone who has been prosecuted.
I have the names of a number of parliamentarians
in the Conservative Party of Canada for whom there is clear intelligence around foreign interference.
Yeah, well, I hope your beeper doesn't go off.
That's when Helene first made landfall on Florida's Gulf Coast.
We're facing down a monster. The potential here exists for a second.
About exactly how the assassination of the Hamas political leader.
For me to speak at a Nazi rally.
Kamala was talking about you and Hitler.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind. The next president of the United States is Donald Trump.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has just lost a confidence vote.
And as long as we keep fighting.
Kim Jong-un expecting a big payoff from Putin.
CNN has learned President Biden will pardon his son Hunter Biden.
Declaring martial law.
Assassin had written the words deny, depose, defend on the bullets.
That's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy.
The richest man in the world took $190 million away from kids with cancer.
These corporations have too much power in this country.
He'll charge Mexico and Canada a 25%
Trudeau
tax.
making that surprise trip to Florida.
Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland has announced she has resigned.
When does just a joke no longer become a joke?
Why won't the Prime Minister have the courage to come in here, present it himself, and put it for a confidence vote tonight?
The Minister cannot remain in that position. Will he resign?
Does not intend to step down over the holidays.
Where a top Russian general has been assassinated.
She has achieved something quite extraordinary here. This courageous public stance, the impact of that will surely ripple through society.